Welcome to Hi everyone, welcome to Jaeger and Kiali Sprint demos. We'll go today with the Jaeger demo first with Yuka, and followed by Kiali demo, and then we'll have another closing demo from Yuka again. So go ahead, Yuka, please.
All right. So by now you should be seeing my Jira Scrum board, and I'm now switching to the terminal. I'm demoing the auto-provisioning of Kafka clusters in the Jaeger operator today. And I have here pretty much everything set to deploy a new instance that will auto-provision the Kafka cluster. So I have here the Jaeger operator running on my local machine. And on this other terminal window here, I have a command that I'm just about to execute, but I would like to show you first the state of my cluster. So I have on my default namespace, I have Elasticsearch running, and on my Kafka namespace, I have the StreamZ cluster operator, which is the Kafka operator. And I'm now then applying this YAML file. So basically this one here, what I'm doing is I'm just setting the strategy as streaming, but I'm not setting any connection properties between the Jaeger collector or the Jaeger ingester to Kafka. And when I set streaming and no address to the Kafka brokers, then that means to the operator that we have to auto-provision a Kafka cluster, right? So, so I'm just then applying that file, Yusuf. And with that, then we have the Jaeger operator identifying that, and it is now provisioning Kafka. So this is the first part of the demo, and we go then now with
All right, Mark, I think you can go next.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. All right, let me share. You can see Kiali now, correct?
Yes.
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 Okay. So most of the work we did this sprint was Patternfly 4 conversions. A lot of it was under the covers, changing of code, but one of the things that are visual that we can see is this new display drop down, and you can see the 6. We're actually showing you the number of selections that we have here. But all this is PF4 now, Patternfly 4. See, we changed it, we got 7. We have the message center is also PF4. So if I were to drop down, this is a new message center with PF4. We can show details still. We can expand this out. It was red there. So all of this is Patternfly 4. We did change some of this background color here. You can see this is dark gray or a light gray, trying to give a little bit more definition to the coloring here, just to make things stand out a little bit more. This is a little, I wanted to bring this up because I don't think a lot of people know about this. We added this to the README because people didn't know about it. But there's this kiosk mode that we've actually had some community people ask about this. Oops. So you could see the header in the left menu bar, but if I were to go and say kiosk, you could see we lose the header and the left bar. So we've documented this now, but I know a lot of people don't know about this. So I wanted to bring this up. This is a feature that's been in there where we're just documented it. as far as our documentation website, we added a search bar. I search for validations. We actually go to a little Google search results here. That's new. And not yet merged, but it will be merged hopefully in a day or so. Another community member asked us to be able to hide our authentication passwords and tokens for Grafana, Jaeger, and I think there was one other, Prometheus. We used to have to be able to put the passwords directly in the Kiali CR and the config map. But this now can go, we can now specify a secret here. I'm not going to demo this. It's not merged in master yet, but the point is we're going to be able to, users are going to be able to store their Grafana, Prometheus, Jaeger passwords or tokens in a Kubernetes secret. And we just mention what secret it's stored right in the Kiali CR. So people won't have to put their actual passwords in the Kiali config map or the Kiali CR. They'll just tell us it's in a secret and we'll load it in from the secret. I think that is it.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Alberto, you're up next.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so as you can see, we have a new look with Butterfly 4. Maybe some of the community may wonder why we have migrated to Butterfly 4. The point is that they have completely revamped the look and feel of the system to provide something modern, clean, and flexible. Butterfly 4 now is will to be accessible, responsive, and modular, so it's easier to adopt and maintain for the maintainers. And the big point here is that it's also decoupled from Bootstrap, meaning that now they have the full control and are no longer trying to another team produce decisions on release cycles. So this will be easier now to grade for the next versions. This is one of the big problems that we had with Butterfly 3, which have Bootstrap 3, because to grade the Bootstrap 4 is to have a lot of work for them. So what does this mean for Kiali? So new look, new designs, improvements in performance, and lighter releases. So we can see that the styles of the toolbars have changed. For example, in the overview page, we changed a lot of styles in the list. For example, if we go to the workload list, we can see that we removed the pagination. Now we have a virtual scroller here to check all the items. And we have a new design for the information, like the icons of the workloads and the space, and the tooltip here of the health icon. If we add some filters, for example, here or Istio, we can see that now we keep only the key of the filter and we are only adding new values. So this is a new design too. And if we go, for example, to the Istio telemetry, we can see that we change the details. It's in that. Sorry, but I need to reload something because it's in that I have an old version. Here is this is not the expected view that we have. Whoa. I don't know what happens here. Let me check. Yeah. The view of the workload, it should be like this. Okay, it's design alignment with this table change. I don't know what happened there. I need to check after that. We changed the metrics views to the charts. This is a good effort that the team did. And yeah, I think that's all from my side. Yeah, now with Butterfly 4, we are going to adopting new UX designs that we have in our queue. So you will see new designs in the next releases. Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Alberto. Lucas?
Okay. Let me to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted just to show an advanced feature that we have in Kiali. So it's not a user feature. So when we go to the getting started and we go to the advanced start, you know that Kiali is installed via the operator. To access to the advanced feature of Kiali, you need just to update it in the custom resource YAML file. So now Kiali has introduced a caching system, okay, that can be configured in the. Let me see the. Okay, here it is documented in the Kiali CR. So you now can enable the caching for all the Kubernetes API, right? So in this way, what we are doing from Kiali is just to reduce the number of queries that we do to the backend in order to fetch all the information, to process all the information, and also to compute all the graph and also the virtual pages list. So this caching is not one of the big difference is that the cluster rights are not necessary. So this caching is per namespace. So if Kiali has cluster or not, the caching can work. In the past, normally the caching should most application only enables caching with cluster resources. So Kiali can work in both modes. Also, we have more advanced features like, okay, so we can decide what Istio types can we catch, right? And also interesting one is that we can define which namespaces we want to catch or not. So we can catch everything, or we can also just decide only the high dense populated namespace will be included in the catching, right? So I have a running example. This is, for example, one of my configuration, my development scenario. So I enable the catching. I define 5 minutes for a full refresh. Between this time, what the catch is going to do is just to update by a snapshot. So the catch is always synchronous with the backend. And in this case, I selected all namespaces with a regular expression, but also I can decide which namespaces I want to catch. Also, I can enable to catch the query of the token, of the namespace token. This means that, you know, when you want to fetch all the namespaces, right? This is a very heavy query that you need some cluster resources, and also this query is specifically catches, and you may define a different duration for this one. So how to see the results? So let me just to clean this one. This is a chart tool just to show the queries that I'm doing from the backend. If I move into my Kiali, so I can, let me to refresh. Right, so now I have the cache enabled, so all the Kubernetes queries are just more faster. Now, for example, I can see in the applications that now these queries are more faster, right, you can see. And if you go to the, for example, this is just for debug my environment, but I can see that only all queries that are not catching are just using the Kubernetes API. Otherwise, the others are just using the watches mechanism for the catches. Okay, that is for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Lucas. Yuka, are you ready to close?
Yes. So you should now be seeing my terminal again. And so just to recap, this is the YAML file that I applied, right? So the name of my Jaeger instance is auto-provision Kafka. And once it finished doing what it has to do, we get all the pods from the Kafka namespace, and we see that in addition to the Kafka cluster, we now have 3 replicas of a Zookeeper installation together with Kafka itself and the Stringency entity operator that takes care of Kafka users and so on and so forth. And once that was provisioned, we then provisioned the actual Jaeger components, the query, the ingester, and the collector. Now, worth mentioning that we make use of TLS certificates when communicating with Kafka. So we create a Kafka user, and the stringency operator then creates a certificate that we then make use of in our Jaeger instance. Right. So the collector and the ingester, they talk to the Kafka brokers using proper authentication mechanisms. It took quite some time to finish. So this is one feature that has not been merged yet, and this is a way of visualizing what's going on within the operator itself. So we are tracing the Jaeger operator, and we see that the apply Kafka method took about 98 seconds, so about 1 minute and 40 seconds to provision the Kafka cluster. And the whole reconciliation step for this one took, so 100 seconds. In under 2 minutes, we have a whole Jaeger production setup with a Kafka cluster in a production quality. And that's it from my side.
All right. Are there any questions from anyone before we finish? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. See you in the next demo.